Good morning, everybody. I'm just starting a few minutes early. Good morning, Steve. So nice to hear you. Let me put some music on until we all gather, and then we can just jump right in. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Manuela. Thank you so much. Hi, Kylie. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's going to have a nice Saturday today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So Stephanie, welcome to live. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see that you're busy, but eventually, you know, like when you get a new job, initially it's like so freaking exhausting. You need to do all this kind of like stuff, but it kind of like gets better. Saint-Gerard, like Northern California, like I still waiting, I guess, for Chris from California to join us, and we will see it. Steve, hopefully, you know, your pain is going to get better. I was like having a little bit of, I don't know what it was last week. I was just very tired, and it was such a beautiful weather, but I was like spending lots of time resting. So I'm going to jump right in today because I want to take advantage of a little bit colder weekend over here, which is actually very lovely to see here. So let's put this on quiet, my phone. Hello. 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 You came to join us? This is so sweet. Yeah, you know that I cleaned the table. You want to leave your steps on it. So there we go. Everybody's here. Hey, you want to say hi to everybody? To Barbie, to Kylie, to Steve, to Stephanie, to Saint-Gerard? Hi, you want to say hi to everybody? Here. Oh, that's it. That's it. My gosh, Africa. So what do we have now? We have Australia. We have Africa. We have North America. Europe. Anybody from Europe here? Anybody from Asia? Come on, guys. Let's kind of like cover all the continents. I don't really think I get much from South America, but the rest of this will be great. So, Xavi, can I start? What is the card that we want to see? The Hierophant reversed. We are kind of like breaking rules. Yes, you're little Aquarians. Somebody asked me, does the cat have to be on the table? I go, yeah, she brings this beautiful energy. I actually did a reading from, what do you call it? Animal Whisperer, and which actually was given to me for my birthday, and asked why Safi is coming to the table, and they said because energy is there. She's feeling all this floating, and I think this is, guys, you also have to thank yourselves as well, because you are attracting energy and energy comes through over here. This is kind of like really, really amazing. Right, Zeph? Is it true? Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. And Safi has a very specific voice. The Siamese cats have this kind of like kind of thing. Right, Saf? Do you love me? Do you love everybody else? That's good girl. That's good girl. You have to love me and just me and nobody else but me. Me, 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 me. Oh my gosh. That is so cute. So cute. Safi, say hi. Say hi. Don't. It's going to fall off. I just spent 10 minutes trying to figure it out. You can see just like her whiskers now, right? Okay, so hopefully she's going to get off the project. Let's crash the camera and we can start. Guys, we have a completely new lineup. It looks like my click and get up is really working, and people are at the very least say, hi, I'm here, or, you know, like, this is my sign, this is my ascendant, so kind of like getting to know you, and that's kind of like really lovely for me. But happy birthdays to Virgos. Is any Virgo over here? And Virgo, first time, second time, third time. Any Virgos, Safi? Any Virgos? She just looked at me like, ew. Kind of like I wanted to kiss her. She's like, no kissing. That's kind of like crossing down their Virgo moon. Okay, so we have it. We have Leo. Okay, so we're starting with Virgo because it's their birthday. But Virgo, you are number 4, which is not bad. I think anybody in the first 6 kind of like is okay. Now, you'll be surprised with who is number 1. You'll be very, very surprised who came to number 1. And you're going to kind of like know in which order. Actually, this is not going to be exactly the same order as I'm going to be reading monthlies. I wanted to start them last week, but I was just too tired. When I'm tired, I don't have enough energy to pull things together. So that sucks, right? But it is what it is. So Virgo, let's see. Oh, we have Virgo sun. There you go, Virgo. Hi Pisces. Hi Gail. So Virgo, we have Ace of Cups. Wow. We have 8 of Swords. And then we have the Strength over here. Now this is one of those decks where, you know, the number 11 and 8 are being switched. I don't know if this means anything to you, because this is usually number 8 in the other decks, right? So what I'm seeing here, guys, is that Virgo, like, this is really like, look at this beautiful deck. Like, there's like something about the new beginning, or maybe you're going to meet somebody who might look promising. Ace of Cups is a really good thing. It's like a seeding period, right? Where you kind of like try to figure out directions and where you're going, and you're very enthusiastic about it, just like a morning. Like, you get up and this is what's going to do today and that kind of stuff. It kind of like relates to the west direction. I don't know if it means anything to you, but like sort of like by looking toward west, that's where things may come from. But Ace of Cups is also about compassion. It is about purity, and it's about creativity. Now, having said all of that, I'm also seeing here the blockage, because there's like something blocking this progress. And I'm wondering, like, if you are feeling or expecting that somebody will call you, or you're expecting some news, or you're trying to resolve a situation, but for some reason it's really not happening. And when this happens, like, right, like everything kind of like feels like it's almost like plotting against you. It kind of like, maybe you met somebody and then things happen. Maybe like, and then you're realizing there are certain things, there are certain obstacles. Or if you're hoping that somebody, let's say from the past, is going to come through with this Ace of Swords, then this kind of like can talk about isolation. This can talk isolation by force, like imprisonment, right? This can talk about disappointment, but this also can talk about people feeling trapped in a relationship. Maybe you love somebody, but you feel trapped because maybe you are, let's say, with somebody who is with somebody else. Or you're with somebody because of money, or they're with you because of the money. There is like some element missing. And here, I think for some of you, that element, it could be really that you're dealing with somebody abusive. And this is a heavy reading, guys. That's why I'm threading so carefully. Threading. Tammy, where are you? Are you in Europe? So that would be awesome. Then you will have Europe covered. Now, like, I always go with numerological number when I see this, right? So Strength card is always talking about building ourselves, kind of like oh, you're Africa, right? That's right, you're on the same meridian. This is kind of like overcoming over our bad parts. We all have good parts, we all have bad parts. Sometimes we just, we're just the way it is, and then kind of like we let it go at that, right? And but when this card really reverses, it can talk about anger and rage and somebody's pride being affected, or struggle of some kind of like sort. I will be honest with you, Virgo, here. I do see a third party relationship here. I really do. And I do see issues happening over here. You know what? I wanted to get my gypsy cards, but I don't know where I put them. Sophie, did you take my gypsy card? Let me just grab it, because this kind of like needs, I mean, I do have the other Lenormand ones, but gypsies are a little bit more. Just want to see if I can find them, guys. If not, well, we'll have to live without it. Without it. Just give me a second. Sorry, Virgo, I know it's your birthday. I should be prepared, but it is amazing. Usually have everything right under my nose, and now I don't have everything under my nose. So why is that? Come on. Gypsy cards. Steffi, did you grab gypsy cards for mommy? Okay, give me a second. I'll get runes if I don't find gypsies, but it doesn't look like I will. Okay, it's official. Okay, this is really bizarre, guys, because I know it sounds like I'm completely disorganized. You need to trust me on this one. I'm actually a really well organized person, and this is why it's really weird. It almost looks like that somebody was here and grabbed this. I mean, it could be that a cat knocked it out somewhere, the deck, but I cannot see it. So my apologies. So I'm going to use the other one instead. I'm so sorry. Let's see, Virgo, what I see over here. Jealousy. Oops, sorry, one more place where they can be. One more place. Jealousy. See, are you dealing with somebody who is very controlling? Found them. They're exactly where they're supposed to be. I don't know why I didn't see them. It was the first place I looked, and I didn't see it. So there you go. So guys, this card is really not good, right? We kind of like have the same card in the other gypsy deck. I just have a little bit more cards over here. So there's like somebody, guys, who may be coming or controlling you, or maybe you're experiencing your own jealousy, where at some point you're really feeling Spirit is giving message with messing my stuff. It was kind of like really weird. I guess I had to make sure that I'm giving the proper message. I also think that I have to pull the another rune for you, because that's kind of like in my search. I grabbed the runes and said, okay, let's do that, right? So I also think that this kind of like talks about cheating, as I have seen it here, or feeling humiliated. Somebody kind of like really feels this way. So maybe this simply means that you really wanted to be with someone, but you feel being betrayed, or you're fearing not being loved, which kind of like makes you vulnerable, and that can actually really talk. You know that, maybe you're going to have difficult time with partners, right? This is kind of like telling me about something destructive, and jealousy can lead to despair, and then you get all these irrational thoughts and decisions, jumping in a car in the middle of the night, checking on someone, and then you really feel that you kind of like self-humiliated yourself, right? So I'm a little bit concerned, I really have to say, for Virgo, because you guys so pedantic, right? But I really have to say this kind of like could be a difficult week, and don't project your fears and obsessions. If it's you who is jealous, deal with this and just say, well, if it is, I'm going to face the music when it comes. In the meantime, I just need to calm down, kind of a thing, right? But also, if there's like somebody coming toward you, if somebody is abusive toward you, that kind of like is alarming to me over here, that you feel conditioned, and that is a tiger bringing his bone over here. Okay, Candace, we are working on Virgo. It's the very first sign that we are doing, and here you go, guys. What this reminds you of? Like, tell me, anybody has any clues? Anybody ever signs an email with XOXO? So yeah, these are kisses, right? That's kind of charity, that's affection. And you see, everything is coming here together. There's like a very kind of like mix, and it can be very toxic mix between, because this one doesn't have inverted thing, right? And this is kind of like talking about somebody in need, and you really need to figure it out. Maybe you are like with someone who you feel obligated because you feel they need you, but maybe somebody feels like God-given gift, kind of a thing, right? But this rune is saying that generosity will be actually rewarded, right? This is also associated with contracts and kind of like affection, of course, right? For sure. So the caution over here would be if you're too generous, if you're too giving, because it's almost like the cup that just gets emptied, right? So be very, very careful about your reputation in this period of time, because like when I sum everything up, I feel that maybe some irreputable things may happen, that some kind of like actions may happen that might not be really on your level, and that you're going to really, really regret later. And it goes both ways, both if you are doing them, or if you're tolerating somebody else to do it because you might be dragged into it, right? Hi, Seth. Hi, Seth. So okay, so let me do something different this time to help Barbie, because she's struggling with this, and we have to give yay to Barbie. She always gives us timestamps, and then she gets hard time from people, so she can actually kind of comprehend how things really work for me. I always get hard time. Well, you did the reading, but you didn't do the stamps. How dare you? So poor Barbie was on the receiving end. So that was Virgo, and now we are going to go into, and let me announce it with a graphic, because I forgot it with Virgo. Where is the graphic, Safi? Where is the graphic? And guess who is still keeping? Not still. Actually, no, I said this is going to be a surprise. This was the very last sign, and it's becoming, ta-da! The first one actually to be read, except for Virgo got a special treatment because of their birthdays. So happy birthdays, Virgo. And this is not a great beginning for a birthday, but let's jump into Leo at 1915. Okay, Leo. That's right, Steve. It could mean also target, and that's basically how things should be looked like, in a very kind of intuitive way. Hi, Biljana, Kakusi, Libra. Let me see. Saf is always in a freaking Leo reading. Like, she really, I think, looks herself in the mirror and she sees a big lioness. And I think this is so clear that she feels that she's running this household. So, let's see. Leo. And then it's going to be surprised also who is number 2 and 3. Okay, Leo. Oh my gosh, I got like I'm in bundle. I'm not going to grab this much. Look at Barbie, where the heck you find these icons? They're like so freaking awesome. Like, okay, something did turn around, and this is like 3 of Swords and 9 of Pentacles. Sally, good morning. You know what, guys, how awesome would it be that every Saturday, like, we have, you know, video conference like this way, or that we are even in the same room having a coffee. Like, when are people going to kind of like invent different concept of time, that just like equally as we travel to a different country, we can travel to a different time and different place. And so this is Knight of Wands. Leo, Nine of Wands could be Sagittarius, but it could be your energy here as well. So I should be putting these cards maybe a little bit up like this, as I usually do, or does it really matter? I guess it doesn't matter. It's just like extra effort. It's even better this way. You know what? I'm one of those people who actually likes my things simple. You go to some people's apartment, they're like very complicated. With me, I like plain colors and kind of like going to the core of the issue. Well, let me start. You guys got this like proverbial 3 of Swords. Well, 3 of Swords, usually when you see, you're not overly enthused to see it, right? But when 3 of Swords reverses, it's still talking about some pain. But that pain, for some reason, is moving into like an understanding, like why certain things happen. It could have been a third-party situation. Maybe you were holding on to some situation because you really wanted to be there. You somehow wanted a little piece of happiness for yourself. But when this reverses, it really talks about clarity. It tells me that you're like completely getting something about things, because there is like this ultimate move on card. And like, I have to fix my tripod as well, because otherwise you wouldn't be getting this like Knight of Wands. And Knight of Wands is really good thing. It's like kind of like really huge motion forward that is really happening for you. I don't know, like, I mean, I'm just trying to recall the reading that I had with you, but this to me talks about passion. It also talks about impulsiveness. It could have been that you guys have been going through a period of, I don't know, being stuck, a period of something has been holding you back, and there has been some enormous sacrifice, guys, that you have done, right? This kind of like is telling me that there is a final release happening over here, which I really think this is great, guys. The blockages are not there, because it kind of like felt maybe that you're a fish out of water, that you haven't been in your element, that things haven't been kind of like flowing, almost like everything has been a little bit jagged, right? So it's like, you know, when you're like on these old televisions, and if anybody's old here, as old as I am, oh, Biljana, I'm Leo as well, where you had to fiddle with antenna to try to find a station, right? In Europe, we didn't have cable television until, well, way after I left, so fiddling with antenna was like very kind of common, and then after every storm. So that kind of like means that you will kind of watch program, but it was not exactly clear picture, like never mind digital, it was all analog. Hey Zephy, you still Leo? You're still a Leo? And it feels like that you haven't had that clarity. You were trying to fine-tune certain things. You were moving it left, you were moving it right, you're moving it forward, you went backward. It kind of like, it just like, it kept like being in a spot, but kind of reaching out, but keep being in the spot. And then finally things started to really work okay over here. So we will see that. Well, I am actually in Vedic. I am Virgo, I think, moon, for some reason. And honestly, I cannot really find. This one came through a whole bunch, but this one came through first. A whole bunch of stuff came through, and I can never. That's because of that reason I'm not following Vedic, because it never really works properly for some reason, right? So you're getting this hope, and I really think this is like what this Knight of Wands is really talking about here. To me, whenever I see this card, of course, I'm thinking about Star card, which is my favorite card. Not because it's Aquarian connected, but it's hope, like it's everything. This whole life is built on hope, and I really think this is like the very quality that divides human race from animals, right? Because they're more like in the now, and we have this projection for the future. So there is like some kind of anticipation and waiting. This can also talk about clairvoyance, that you're getting some kind of messages and hunches and that kind of like stuff, right? Because if you really look at it, like she has this kind of like, she's like blindfolded, and she kind of like does look troubled, right? But she is still sitting in a kind of like very stillness, and there are like these big clouds behind her. And of course, if I hold this properly, you would actually see it, right? But this white blindfold is kind of like, to me, crucial. And like, why is this? Where is this camera? Where is this camera? I'm off today. So there are some kind of events. There are things happening that something might turn in favor, and there's like some kind of situation that you probably want resolved, right? And that's kind of like hopes of the heart, not hopes of the brain, right? So that's a signaling that there's a time to move on. I really think this is really connecting to it. And this can also relate back to something that you had hoped in the past, and that you had some kind of like certainties that you believe into, but now you're abandoning them in order to really move forward, right? So I also think it's going to be a week where there are going to be happening two things. One, you're going to be looking inward, and you're going to be looking forward. But with this case, it's not going to be one step forward, but let's go back in the center kind of a thing. There's like some kind of like feeling of energy, feeling that things are actually really, really moving forward, right? So I don't know like why, but it kind of like really feels that, like, you know, your card is really talking about a power and courage, and this is kind of like going to be reinforced, right? If you guys have been sick for some reason, because this card of course can appear in the situation that you felt maybe that you isolated yourself because of sickness or condition that you have, that also is going to change this particular week. So this is really, really interesting over here. So Leos, it's going to be a good week. There's like something that really bothered you that you are going to look behind. So let's go to the next sign, which is going to be, ta-da! Leo, 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 Leo. No, we just did Leo. Did I do Cancer? Did I do Cancer, or did I mix anything, guys? I don't remember doing Cancer. What the heck is wrong with me? I'm all over the place. So I did Leo. Okay, why did I do Leo when Cancer was first? Now I feel guilty. Cancer, I do feel guilty. So it's the other way around. So let's put this Cancer back. Guys, you're thinking that I'm all over the place, and I am. Sometimes I get this way. Sometimes I do get this way. So what could this mean? That spirits direct me in the way of Cancer. Oh my god, I miss Cancer. Cancers, you're going to get bigger reading as a result. Okay, so let's try to do it. 29. Something is off. Cancer. Yeah, I put Cancer and then Leo. And like that's right. Let's blame it on Safi. Let's blame on Safi. I was just guided to do Leo for some reason. So, and Cancer is also the sign that holds things back, and so we have Queen of Swords reversed. Ew. There's a Judge Judy showing up over here. And then you have Four of Pentacles. Mercury retrograde is all over, but I think it's over. This is like clearly me. I cannot really blame it to Mercury retrograde, even though I have to say it was the worst one in my life. This is simply not sleeping enough. I didn't sleep enough last week for some reason. It was like 3 to 4 hour nights, and it obviously shows, guys. But this is Knight of Cups. So you have Queen of Swords, you have Four of Pentacles, and you have, actually that's a page of Cups in this particular deck, or Daughter of Cups. Why are they reversed now? Are you guys dealing with some kind of like family situation? Maybe you have been a guardian in the family, where you were like some kind of like peacemaker, and now you're starting to feel stress because, you know, you just wanted to assist situation where now everybody's like flying through you, or tell him or tell her, like one of those situations, because you guys are really affected over here. I just kind of like really wonder also, because Queen of Swords, oh, that's me on a very bad day, and trust me, I don't like me on that day. This is like how bad things can get, right? So that's somebody who can be very distant, you know, aloof as they call us, and overly emotional. But that sometimes can also go into cruelty, right? Kind of like overly strictness, which for me it's overly strictness, and other people kind of like see cruelty. So it could have been that you're dealing with somebody who is sending you some kind of like vibes like that, which is kind of like really weird, because in your situation it is going to really backfire on them, because you're getting like this Four of Pentacles reversed, and Four of Pentacles is about security and contentment. It's about this proverbial building walls, and you cannot get anything through those kind of like walls, right? So when this kind of like reverses, these walls are falling down, and this could also be that they're falling down because maybe you're feeling a little bit harmed by this person. I would really literal, you know how I had this like little icon under the mailbox, little crab hiding. I would kind of like be cautious with people this week, and what you do, and how vulnerable you really want to be, because sorry to say, but people this week are not going to be that nice and that kind towards you, and it would really suck, right? So since I messed up with you guys, I just really want to see what is going on. So this is my bow. I kind of like always having a problems memorizing this kind of like runes, and then I actually start giving them my own name. So this rune is actually called Dagaz. That's the rune of light, but it's also rune of midsummer, which just happens to be, we happen to be almost like midsummer right now, right? And doesn't have inverted meaning as well, because it's exactly the same on the other thing, but it's really good, because this is kind of like talking about laughter and fun and wonderful times. So this is kind of like, now to put this in perspective, it's making me wonder if that was like some kind of like set of circumstances that kind of like has been maybe a little bit sad. Like, I mean, it looks like that's why I mixed you with Leo, because it's very similar, and I would advise you going back to 1915 and check Leo as well, because this is telling me that whatever it was that was bothering you, whatever it was that was difficult, whatever it was that was holding you back, now it's coming to an end. And you're going to feel very lovely. You're going to feel that you can drop your walls. And I think this really makes sense, because you're almost like you're getting some kind of security. It takes like, I mean, a lot of strength to be vulnerable, because some people just can get squished. And you're like one of the signs that know this better than anybody else, right? And like, you are even able and willing to risk rejection, and you'll know, okay, if this happens, I will be able to handle it, right? So it's going to be like, oh, let me just try to demonstrate. You'll feel like, yeah, like it's going to be literally a week like that, to summarize it like in sounds, right? So worries are lifted off your shoulders, and you're going to almost like feel like childlike, right? And it's going to be really, really good. So I don't know, like if you're also dealing with children, that you're going to be getting something about that, but it also can talk about I don't know, any holidays, anybody's like around holidays, because this can actually talk about travel, vacations, holidays, that kind of stuff. And kind of like, and you're getting jealousy again. But in your case, I think it's different. In your case, you're saying, I am no longer feeling this way. I'm no longer going to be bothered. I'm no longer going to be frustrated with anything that is really holding me down, right? So because this is symbol of sunlight, everything is getting exposed, and maybe this is why it is. Like you're like shrugging your shoulders and then saying like and then yay, something is like really coming and happening that would be much, much, much better. So even though this is kind of like really highlighting midsummer, so that kind of like would be mid-July, maybe you would want to think what was happening mid-July that kind of like is relating to what I'm reading right now, and to kind of like get that get kind of like the sense of what's not going to be longer any burden. So this is kind of like good to kind of like continue with this. So Cancers, my apologies for kind of like messing up with your reading, but I would definitely check Leo's reading, because for some reason I feel Leo relates to you, but not necessarily the other way around. So let me just check my little thing over here, who is next. And surprise, 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 the next one is Scorpio. Yes, Scorpio did manage to get all the freaking up. So 36. I'm just writing this down, trying to help Barbie like with this later. So yes, Barbie, you see, she's saying let's do the door. So this one, let's blame it on Barbie, because I have to put the door icon, guys. So what I'm going to also do, I'm going to take a different deck of cards, and you guys think of a question you want to ask. I'm going to shuffle cards on my end. Shuffle cards. Let's see, I have to put some energy to pick up something. Oh, 2 cards jumped out. Okay, I'm going to put them out, and actually I know all 3 cards, so I cannot play the game alone. So let me get my, what is this, xylophone? Here we go. The psychic tools. The psychic tools. What am I doing here? And this is like all over the place. So if you guys wanted the door number 1, the answer is Emperor. So Emperor is talking about some kind of like solidity. Emperor is talking about kind of like reviewing the situation and trying to figure out what is the best leg to stand on. And then when you find a solid ground, you put another foot down, and like you're standing there very, very kind of like firmly. So the answer here is yes. And it might not, if it's a romantic kind of like question, it might not happen in a romantic way, but nonetheless it's going to happen, right? So this is kind of like a very, very positive things. So good for you guys. So let's see door number 2, the moon reversed. Well, also here, to go back in door number 1, it's kind of like very much Aries like energy. It's like forceful energy that kind of like really wants to happen and wants to happen fast. And sometimes, even though this energy is really good to get where you want to go, like you're like kind of like maybe stepping on, I mean, shrinking souls around, so be careful about that. Or somebody might give you something, but you will feel like, well, you need to be stepped on in order to get it. So that's a little bit problematic thing. So this is interesting, because this is the first and this is the last sign, and I'm getting them kind of like in the same reading. And the moon is, usually when it's upright, it's talking about the jealousy, talking about issues popping up, it's talking about, well, I don't know, but it can also talk about psychic powers. Well, when it reverses, it's really talking about some kind of clarity. So I don't know if the answer is yes over here, unless you ask a question that you really wanted to get to the bottom of something. You really wanted to understand how and why certain things happen, and that all of a sudden is going to come to you different ways. Maybe you're going to be guided. You know, you can even go, like, you can use my channel as oracle. Literally, I just realized that you can go on the videos and just scroll and scroll and scroll and click on the random one. It doesn't matter to be for your sign, and the answers will come to you. And so the moon reversed is really talking about, okay, so now the light is coming. Now you're kind of getting the understanding of things. It's no longer something that is in your head. Maybe somebody was trying to tell you this was in your head. Somebody told you, well, you know, you are frustrated and you're feeling this way. But all of that stuff that was bubbling up to the surface is now going to come in a better perspective, which is going to allow you to move forward. And that's why I'm saying I'm not so sure if I can tell you yes or no answer over here, because this is more related to kind of how things will work out. Wow. Strength. But strength is reversed. So you guys were asking maybe if somebody is going to commit, if somebody is going to come through. Who asked number 3? Because this, I am afraid that this can actually go in a big conflict, and the situation is really not there. I do not like this card when this card reverses, because this card, and I don't have the combinations over here, can actually talk about dealing with an abusive person, dealing with people who actually are really not good for you in the long run. Well, when you're in the situation, it's kind of like, you know, we all very judgmental when we see people in bad situations, but then we find ourselves in the same situation and we kind of like jump through the hoops to try to find kind of like suggestions out of it. This is why I simply, excluded a whole bunch of people for dating, such as separate people, I'm not dating them, or people who talk about their exes. It's just like, I quickly cut them off. Mind you, I'm that Queen of Swords, because I just really, really want peaceful life and not to get into that kind of like issues. So, yeah, I guess that's what's going to be. Hello, hey Hadid, how are you? So thank you, Barbie, for calling this up. You guys, you need to kiss Barbie's ass in order for her to do this, because she calls the shots when it comes to doors, etc., right? The only time I don't let her call the shots, because she doesn't have the insight in my analytics, is like which sign goes next. So, okay, so let's do this again. Let's do this again. Let's see my new Scorpio icon. Scorpio, don't you like my Scorpio? You get it? You get it? It's like Scorpion with this little kind of like tail and a sting coming up. So let's see, Scorpio, you guys did really well. You were kind of like, that's the energy for you, Scorpio. You jumped, I don't know, like from which one were you last time? You were 7 and now you are 3. Scorpio is really, really doing it really well. Why couldn't I choose? My eyes was all on 3s. It was your card, Sally. You're like a Leo, right? So what do we have here, Scorpio? We have 10 of Pentacles. We have 3 of Pentacles. We have 8 of Cups. And then we have 2 of Cups. What is going on here? So this is you. That's some kind of transformational quality that is kind of like being pushed forward. So this is strong earth over here, and this is very strong water. So water is really nourishing earth, so it's kind of like very beneficial to kind of like look at it. Like, you know, I'm so focused on these cards, I don't even look how camera is looking at them and how it's focused. You see, 10 and 3 is 13, which kind of comes to that death thing. And it's really telling me that it could be maybe even time to move for some of you. Maybe some of you are having issues with family, with kind of like how you and who you feel being close to you. It could be family relationships that are affected to some extent, but you're like really reacting in a really true scorpionic way, where you are saying, you know what, you're not getting in the way. I'm building this for such a long time, and I'm going to continue to build this, right? That's why you have this kind of like collaboration and confidence, and like kind of finding out the solutions. So it could be like there is like something happening that is kind of family emergency of some kind of kind. Maybe you have been just simply judged and something has been passed your way. But that's why you have been born in a sign of Scorpio, because you will be judged all your life, right? Like, why do you think like you are the only sign that is a basically bug, right? But a very, very kind of like bug that knows how to defend itself, right? So here it is, like you're saying, you know what, I have to use my extra powers because I don't have the strength. I don't have like this ability to do it otherwise. This can mean to me, and then we have a 10, right? I don't know, are you having a partner problems with your marriage partner, or are you having problems with somebody you have been married to, or somebody from your past that something is coming through? Because like this 8 of Cups is that proverbial card where we are really looking for something better. We are really looking in a direction where, and how we can kind of like improve ourselves, better our lives, right? But when 8 of Cups kind of like reverses, like to me it's really talking about something or somebody coming back. And I know, I really feel there is somebody here who really feels rejected. Did you reject somebody? And hence there is like a big emotional component. Look, this is kind of like moving into arena where maybe this is what it is. Maybe somebody's communicating a problem to you and you're saying, hey, I had to try it, life goes on. Like almost like it sounds to me situation with an ex-lover, ex-husband, ex-wife, and you are maybe explaining to them. So this to me would tell me that the breakup did not happen on best terms, that maybe there was a lack of closure, or that one of the partners is just a dog with a bone, and even though if the closure is given to them, they still want to get closures on their own terms. It's almost like as if they want to be fed with words. I mean, in that situation, if people need closure like that, you can write yourself a letter, and frankly, it really works as if somebody else gave you this closure. But this is kind of like really a situation that looks like you're finding yourself, and it's going to ask for lots of diplomacy. It's going to ask how you really approach it. And if you haven't, done things in a way, and you have to put yourself in their shoes, and you have to think, how would they feel if that has been done to them? And that, I think, is going to bring this emotional component in a situation, which is going to help. I really truly believe. So let me get some clarification here, because there's like so much. Hi Adrian. Misfortune. Why am I getting this? I'm for some reason not getting this as you, but it could be you, because this Tower card, this is a Tower card, right? But a little bit actually reversed in Tower card. But look, you have enemy, and then you have love. Enemy and love. This is an old partner. This is like somebody who is jealous. There's like somebody who you maybe are moving on, and somebody really wants bad things to happen to you. It's kind of like, if you're not mine, you're nobody's. Like we kind of like know about that, right? And it could be just somebody who is, this can talk about legal separations, and I guess it can talk about loss of family property or something. Disputes with relatives, guys. But it can really talk about that you're not getting help from colleagues, but you're going to rebuild this. And look at this, like it's really ending well. So here it was like 2 of Cups reversed. So somebody's really pissed off about being rejected. If this is you guys, then you're recovering. But I was getting this feeling that this is really not you all along, even though these three cards have been reversed, and this actually has confirmed this at this stage, because this is telling me somebody's lurking in the shadows, somebody's maybe observing you, somebody's maybe watching you, and this person is a sick puppy. This person might love you, but be very careful about this love. Oh my gosh, I'm getting really interesting readings today. All of them have this dose of the stalkers in the shadows, etc., etc. It's kind of like, ugh, we have to kind of like really be careful, all of us this week, I would just say, right? So that was Scorpio, my dears. So let's go in the next sign, which is Virgo. No, with Virgo we did it first, so that would be, I guess, Gemini. And Gemini's and Cancer like did so amazingly well. I just had a Virgo written fourth, and then I realized, oh, I acknowledged you guys. It is your birthday after all, so why not to make you go first? So we are going with figuring out what's going on over here. Hello, creative girl. I want to sleep. I just cannot sleep. Oh, you're getting the stars. You're getting this hopefulness over here. And this is, what is this? This is Knight of Pentacles reversed. What's happening? Some kind of like slowdown. And this is like almost like torturing you guys when slowdown happens. And you have Five of Swords as the last one over here. So I guess clarifications will be in order over here. And before I forget, guys, don't forget to continue clicking, because you Geminis are number 5. For somebody who was released 20 days later and they jumped this high, just like Cancer, they jumped to number 1. I don't know what to say. I say, you guys said to me, we do love you, we just don't talk all the time, so don't take it against us, cat. So we are here talking about entering new phase of life, guys. I also feel here that maybe you felt you got stuck in the rut, that maybe everything was like same old, same old. Like, I mean, the star is always like time when we embracing new ideas and we are growing. It's that clarity and serenity, but like to me always this is the sign of healing as well, because if you really read Kabbalah and everything that is really happening, they're really talking about the flow, and this kind of like jugs are this flow of different thoughts, of different kind of process, and all of these kind of like 7 stars around the big one are actually addressing our chakras over here. I think in particular you guys will be working inside of yourself, how you relate to other people and how you position yourself, right? So Nine of Pentacles means that, yeah, you might actually encounter some kind of walls, and you know that it can be some kind of stagnation, but that can be due to some kind of carelessness. This is also very talkative. It's kind of like relating to Aquarius. You might be hitting off with someone, but then you blur it out way too freaking much and you don't really know how to stop, right? So it is really kind of like interesting thing here when everything is like resolving with this like Five of Swords. It's never my loving card, but I don't know if you can see it, if I position it properly here. Can you see this like big eye watching over here? So in this particular case, I really think that you are going through a patch of destiny, through a patch of karma, and possibly through some kind of reunion, guys, or a resolution, or some kind of like forgiveness that is really happening in the situation, because she gets it. She gets what somebody else was doing. So, but it was almost like that the gateway was blocked. You didn't see it. You couldn't move it in the direction, and now it's opening to the point that you have no doubts and no illusions. So this is really, really helping over here. So Cancer was at 29, So you can just look back to 29 and you're going to get there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hi King, hello guys, please like and share. You don't have that many people today here, but it's okay. Widow. Yeah, you know what, like there is like the sadness that maybe that has been happening, or there's like a feeling, and I really, whenever I see widow and widower, there are people who are looking in the past. Usually also older people are looking in the past, right? Where, you know, with widowers that usually immediately marry, but widows, they usually stay widows. They kind of like maybe are tired of relationships, but maybe they're feeling, okay, you know what, I don't want to go into any kind of like next kind of like concepts. This is also telling me about healing, quite a bit of healing, and quite a bit of releasing mournings and loss and regrets, and needing to accept situations as it is kind of like over, right? Things are permanent. Maybe it has been some kind of separation from somebody. Maybe you have been dealing with somebody who is widowed, right? And you know, it's kind of like really telling you that situation was really complicated. It really didn't have easy answers, and hence, you know, it's kind of like really time to accept things. And once I get this clarity, all of a sudden it's like so easy to release and to kind of like move on. So I kind of like see that everyone, it looks like, will be going through 2-3 days of kind of like introspective kind of like feelings about how everything is going, in which direction is going. So the next one, ta-da, and I'm going to give you the sign that will be coming after that, is Sagittarius, and after Sagittarius you're going to have Libra, because Libra also climbed up. So we are talking about, and I'm just doing this writing down and not doing a great job, so Barbie will have to really fix this, but Barbie again derail me, and guys, so we are going back to psychic, and psychic, and I need to check the time. Okay, I know. So guys, think of the question, and I'm going to shuffle the cards. Let's get the energy here. Guys, this is for my group here. They want to get their answers. Well, I'm shuffling this deck. I want to shuffle the other deck. But I did get one answer over here from this deck. Yeah, I know. I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I know. A little crazy, but nothing new. Okay, so the first card I know what it is, but second and third I don't know. So let's see. Now when I reveal this, what's coming out? You guys did ask your question. You can ask Barbie, you and I today, like, I mean, we're like crisscrossing, but that's all good. That's all good because she knows that I'm not looking in the comments, and that's why she kind of like squeeze it in. We are going to work it out, don't worry. So door number one, guys, whoever thought about it, is getting 8 of Pentacles. So there's like something that you're working on. You have to look in fine details. The devil is in the details over here. If you do take care of the details, so that could be sometimes that is unspoken. And you know how people say, for example, if somebody is breaking up with you, they will never tell you the honest reasons, right? Well, most of the time they won't tell you, and then you're kind of like left lingering. But some people have the self introspection and they can kind of figure it out. So 8 of Pentacles is basically yes, but it's really saying that it still takes certain things, certain elements to kind of like looked over and kind of like see things that can happen as basically how they respond to it. So it's really important to kind of like figure it out what somebody really thinks, instead of just like being kind of like, yay, we are back together, because they have some kind of hidden agenda, and the hidden agenda has to be satisfied for this to be solid. So. Oh, Kylie, I thought that you're asking me. The door number 2, and let me ask a question, because for myself, because I kind of like was focused on the number 2, but why do I want to pick door number 2? Okay, never mind. Well, it's the Ace of Swords reversed. So the answer here is no, guys. And you might hear the answer you want to hear, but it's going to be a lie. This is really talking about, it's a karma, and there is a reason why things is not happening. So it's best to really honor it, because the Ace of Swords, when it comes, and clearly you guys had, and that's no wonder I couldn't come up with the questions about relationships because I'm not in one. It's talking about some breakup of relationship, or somebody lying, or somebody not telling the truth. Maybe you're waiting for somebody to come back. And at this stage, this is not even the best idea. So sorry to disappoint. And the door number 3 is 4 of Cups. Well, this is really talking about ships in the dark. And oh my goodness. And like from all the elements and how long I have this card, it's the first time that I have noticed something. And I don't know if I can bring your attention to it. See this little kind of like thing here? It looks like a heart, isn't it? This little kind of like piece of the blue sky, and that's the first thing I saw in this card. But this card is really about somebody protecting himself, somebody who's holding basically his arms over here. There were different options that they have exercised. So I know that you're asking for yes or no, but here it is really talking somebody who is not possibly looking for solutions, because look at this, 3 things didn't work, and now there's the 4th thing coming out of this freaking thin air, but this person is not even seeing it. So this might not happen, not because the person doesn't want to, because that's why I think seeing this heart was very important. I really think you need to give a little bit more time to brew it. If the question was if somebody has feelings for you, I would say definitely yes. I would say that somebody's actually even thinking about commitment. Somebody's really thinking on how to push it forward, but for some reason, and this is my phone, that's kind of like seems to be really hard to make it work. And what the heck is going on? Usually we get sometimes, and I don't know if you guys get it in your cities, when children are abducted, we get these messages that something's come in the middle of the night. So this is something like what's going to probably happen over here with you guys who ask for door number 3. It's going to be, they're going to be sidetracked and not being able to focus on one direction, and hence things will not happen. But I would not give up on it. That's also what I'm saying over here. You know, because Barbie was so nice, we're going to do door number 1, 2, 3 again, so she can call for it. So now we are going to go back to Sagittarians, and I have to change the program to do that. So Saggies, don't you like my Saggies? Get it? Arrow. Oh my gosh, this took freaking forever to do it, and I think that maybe people don't get my humor. So let's do this. It's like 1 or 2. All right, so the Archer. Who is the Archer right here? I think Kylie is Sagittarius. So, hey Chris, I was mentioning you earlier. There's like somebody else from California here. Good morning. Okay, so we have 5 of Cups, and Sagittarians are coming through, and this one wants to come through. It's Aquarius. Sagittarians. You're like very disappointed. Like this is this 5 of Cups, which usually doesn't happen frequently for Sagittarians. For fire signs and for air signs, usually I get 3 of Swords. For earth signs and for water signs, I get 5 of Cups, because that's just simply how we approach life, right? So this is kind of like talking about feeling of a loss and neglect, and sometimes even despair. Like it's the proverbial card, the spilled milk kind of a thing, right? Even here we can see 3 solid cups, but 2 spilled, right? Which in the other decks is the other way around. So this is really telling me that there was like this kind of like highlight, that somebody really was hoping for some kind of connection, for some kind of connectivity to come together. But instead they were just going for tried and true. I feel there has been a situation, maybe a choice between marriage and love. And it's marriage is long term and lots of things happen, and sometimes the energy and the glue goes away, because this is really telling me, Sagittarians, you're going to be on a banana peel. You're not going to be yourself. It's going to feel awkward this entire week, right? It might be some kind of like competition. It's going to be things that are maybe in excess, or maybe you're just going to withdraw and just like go to yourself. It can talk about some kind of like major frustration. You'll really have to deal with your own energy in this particular week. There's like some energy of some kind of like ending. It could be ending of a process. It could, I'm feeling, because your card came through, that this has been something that has been going on for quite a while. It's something that you have debated within yourself, that now it's almost like you're feeling remorse, you're feeling guilt over things. But then you're getting this ability to understand that it is what it is. You need to move on. You need to kind of like honor whatever is happening. This also could be a communication. It can be a long distance communication, this particular card. This is card of healing. This is card of absorbing the energy, realizing that past has to stay in the past, and that things moving forward are coming from inside. And like, since you're the archer, like my kitty with a freaking leg on it, like you are like kind of like setting your stage, and this is a really your sister card, and it's really good that it's really showing up here and kind of going in this direction. It's a widow. Yeah, I see there's like the things that there's like a sadness. It's a huge sadness that I see, Sagi, is happening for you this particular week, and it's going to morph into something else. You're going to really feel that you're not being yourself. Whenever I see Temperance reversed, it's really telling me, well, you know, the stars are not lining up, things are off, and it's like you grab the knob to pull the drawer, the knob stays in your hand, kind of a weak kind of a thing. So, but there is like something from the past that is bubbling and resurfacing over here. And I think this really, really bothers you over here. So you're just doing Sagi over here right now. Tammy said, this is why the Sagi I know has pulled away when ghosts and have no idea what's up with them. Yeah, honestly, this doesn't even feel like them at this stage. It feels like they will be in their own world. But toward the end of the week, there is like some kind of depression here that I see as well. I don't know, they're really usually good. Sagittarians are good in camouflaging, because fire signs and air signs, they don't like to be vulnerable. They're like freaking like cats, right? They don't want to show because they feel that they'll be attacked, and it's kind of like very difficult to do that. But every single sign kind of like have a little kind of like feeling that the beginning of the week there is like this cleaning and clearing, and I think this is why the full moon basically happened, because it made us do that, and we are still kind of like going and doing the process. So yes, Sally, if you just backtrack a little bit, you can see Sagi reading. So as I said, the next one is ta-da, and Barbie is Libra. This is different take on Libra. It's not the 2 scales, it's 1. The cat inspiration was me, because that's how it feels, except you know so need to work on balance, and this is one of the ways to get it. So let's do this. I'm just trying to write it down. So Libra, let's see. Libra, you're number 7, and you have been like what, dead last or something like that. And I was like wondering if you like me. So I don't know like why this kind of like flip around. I think this should be upright. That's how I feel. Libra. Okay, so let's do this. And you're having 8 of denaries, 8 of pentacles, and 3 of cups. Yay, Libra. There's like some kind of like, and this is you, 8 and 3 is 11, right? So we are here dealing with kind of like positioning. We are dealing here with a new direction. Libra is going in a completely new direction. I really think, because you're getting Chariot here, so there's like something that you guys have been dealing, I would say in July. It will be end of June, July, and that kind of like is propelling you forward. Maybe you wanted to do something, but it was Mercury retrograde, and because of Mercury retrograde, kind of like you tried to swim upstream, it just really didn't go. Because this is really talking about mastery. Like Chariots are about mastery. Chariots are about like basically the other way of calling mastery is like winning over your own demons, because we always need to do a little bit of change in order to move forward. That change could be on the outside, the people we connect to, or inside. Sometimes it can be both, right? So this mastery over here that needs to happen, it's kind of like this determination and triumphing finally, kind of like not giving up over a certain situation. For some of you, this also can talk about relationships with people who are maybe right now in a orbit, I would say, of your life, who maybe you want to be with, maybe you don't want to be with, maybe you want to deal with. It could be ex-partners, that could be people you share child custody with, but it could be like also they're trying to pull the strings, and maybe they have been pulling strings, and hence things actually really didn't work out because of those reasons, and nothing more or less than that. But then 3 of Cups is really telling me, okay, so there is a time for feeling comfort. There is time, Libra Ascendant Kylie Mitchell here, feeling, okay, I can relax, I can enjoy, maybe, getting together with people who are friends, who maybe there is also some kind of creative endeavor that is going to be some kind of like pleasure at the end of it. 8 of Pentacles is about rebuilding things. It's about looking at the fine details, yes, but it's also into kind of like, I am looking toward these goals, right? I want to go in this direction. So there's like, whoosh forward, but it almost looks like that you still have to deal with maybe people who are part of this. So it's not necessarily this is all about you. It could be also that other people are included, but let's see what kind of things are going to happen here. Look, and you're getting journey. There is like this, you're getting 2 chariots, guys. You guys are going to be unstoppable. This is like, foot on the pedal. Like you're kind of like flooring it. You're flooring it like this particular time, and then you're saying, ooh, well, let me kind of like slow it down. And so you are like hopping over something. This is like so freaking amazing. I love the journey card. Like, there is a Lenormand card that is called Rider. It is very similar, and it is really talking about, could be trip, could be vacation, or simply this little gathering with your friends is going to be so relaxing that is going to feel really, really good. Like, maybe you're going to meet somebody with whom you already have somebody who's a friend who might actually move in a kind of like different kind of like level over here. This is positive change, guys. And if you're planning a trip, it's going to be long distance rather than something around. But I also think that this is a card that rarely has negative meaning. And as I said, this kind of like really talk about change in situation. Something is moving forward, something is getting resolved, you're feeling really good about it. And well, so far this is the most positive reading for a week that I see over here. So good for you. So the next one, and I'm going to introduce 2 signs. The next one will be, ta-da, Aries, Aries, and after Aries, we're going to be looking at another A sign. Who can guess which that one is? So let's do this. Aries, 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 Aries. Ooh, Manuela, you have lots of Libra, and together with your Leo, right? Let's do this way for Aries. Aries. Oh my gosh, I just remember I had dreams about reading for Aries. And was it a good dream? Dreaming? Ooh, I don't remember what kind of read it was. So you have Queen of Swords again. You in the first place. You might be dealing with marital situation with mother or with wife or with a partner who there could be exchange of harsh words or some kind of like sword. It kind of like feels like a week of injustice, like the little Calimero, you know, the chicken, the cartoon that I remember from my childhood. I don't know if anybody watched this cartoon. Did you guys have it here? I think it was Italian. Why is Five of Pentacles here? Actually, Five of Pentacles, when it reverses, is not a bad thing. I think it's more or less talking about sensuality. Maybe you overspend some money and now you're like finally coming into financial recovery. Maybe this is why the bills showed up and you're saying, ooh, holy smoke, I have to really look at my finances over here, right? Because this kind of like tells me there is some kind of like renewed confidence, but it's kind of like more based on day-to-day things, which kind of like it's okay because this is like weekly reading after all, so it's really not a big deal. But this could kind of mean a conflict. It could mean conflict that kind of gets resolved, and I really think that maybe you're seeing another person in a completely different eyes. You almost like feel that you have been a little bit naive in how you perceive the situation, people, or concept of some kind of like kind. And maybe this is kind of like giving you a little bit of sense of disappointment. But maybe you should just wake up and say this is called maturity. Like, you know, things are continuously changing, you're continuously moving. This too shall change, as Buddhists say, because even good things are going to get bad and bad will get good. So this is kind of like a concept of that karma over here, because the Six of Cups is about this nostalgia and reminiscing and being stuck, right, into something that has been. Maybe you're dealing with a rough patch. We're dealing with somebody who kind of like currently is not the most friendly person toward you, and you're like wondering and hoping that things return back to the way they were, but things are not going to return the back they were. So this also can talk about work conflict of some kind of situation, and maybe even an HR episode that somebody had to go, and hence it's kind of like generating some kind of like emotional response for you. As you see, there is like no fire over here, so it almost like feels like you'll be guided by situational response over here. So that's what's going to be happening over here. So let me just see here. There you go, Kylie. Sagi's excitement, that's good to see. Visit. Yeah. Oh, because the Six of Cups, to me, whenever I think of Six of Cups, when I was like, and I go from time to time and do these meditations and say, okay, so let's see what happens. And Six of Cups, to me, very often brings people from high school. Not so much elementary school, but from high school. Not so much university either, because we were kind of like in our own universes when I was there. Especially when I was studying, people were dropping like hot potatoes and leaving studies. So high school to me means people, when we were forming ourselves into who we are, we really didn't have a full concept about it, but we also had this exuberant ideas, and we had hopes and we had aspirations. We were just trying to see in which directions our life is going to take. So this kind of like really tells me going back to almost like your own roots. What did I want to do in this life, and how do I really want to get there? And this is really telling me. And I don't know, the Visit card in this particular deck is clearly talking about, it could be, you know, it's in the other deck is called Room, but Room is empty, and Visit kind of like, at least we see people. There's like something about heart chakra that is over here that is really happening, and I really feel it's more like about retreat and needing to reflect and maybe waiting for something to happen. It can really talk about if it's work, then it's becoming business as usual. Things are actually settling down. But if it's something that it was, let's say, a relationship issue, then I would say then having sex with someone is not going to be satisfactory. Sorry to say this, because you'll say, well, we used to have this connection before. We used to kind of like do things, and I felt more intimate, and kind of like there is like a feelings. There's like some kind of essence that you're like missing. Or you simply didn't get sugar in your coffee. I guess it can be seen that way. Before we move to Aqua, and Barbie's being very nice over here. Yeah, Barbie and I coordinated. Yes. Yes. I love you, Barbie. Oh my gosh, you have no freaking idea. You're so awesome. So, let's do it. No, wrong button. I clicked the wrong button. It's not going to be doors, it's going to be messages. So Barbie's right. So let me get a different deck and get this message for us present over here. Okay, let's get this deck. Messages for the room. Messages for the room. Messages for the room. Barbie is amazing, yes. We had the same timing. Oh, I think I'm going to go to Starbucks, Sally, and I'm going to get myself Americano with some cream. Treasure Island. Oh my freaking god. Should we play lottery? Like, should we play? Oh, let me see. So I'm going to read everything here. So this is what it says. This is the Law of Attraction card over here. I'm going to leave it here. So it says the law of attraction, bringing dreams into fruition, the results of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as it's from nowhere, play lottery, financial gains, and the sharing of good fortune. Oracle's message. You have worked hard and acted upon your unwavering belief in abundance, and suddenly, in the midst of it all, you hit the jackpot. You have uncovered the map to buried treasure and tapped the unlimited potential within you. What you must hone now is your ability to recognize when X marks the spot. Steve, can you believe this? Did you not write this? This is your energy. Because some of these golden opportunities may be obvious, but others might not be so readily apparent. Trust your intuition to light your way now as you enter this truly prosperous phase where all the long hard work navigating your inner life is now paying off externally. In all aspects of your life at this time, you have good fortune. Don't forget to enjoy it and share it with others, as treasure shared multiplies like magic. For those of you who need relationship message, your relationship is a treasure, providing even more than you need, but you may not see that right now. No matter how long you have been together, you and your partner are always discovering hidden gems about yourselves and each other. Now it is a time of discovery. It's as if everything is in sync and everything is new again. Romance blooms and love is in the air. You can be assured that this partnership will bring you greater gifts and valuable lessons. Keep your heart open. The message of this card is to celebrate love and what it teaches you. But it didn't really say anything about the singles over here. So, prosperity message. At this time, you can be confident that success is yours. Your ideas are all hitting the mark, and you are in a true manifestation period when you will see evidence of the seeds of prosperity you planted in the past. This is good because I wanted message from me as well. The appearance of this card in a reading indicates that your dreams and aspirations align with concrete signs of prosperity in the world of form. This is a very auspicious and fortunate time for business. Creative projects will flourish as inspiration strikes. Share your wealth with others too. Generosity and gratitude should lead you now. And protection message. Poverty consciousness and a sense of quote unquote not enough cast a shadow on your path. Those ideas and core beliefs come with a high cost. Do you really want to proclaim yourself a victim of disappointment and fail expectations? Are you avoiding success because you will grow so tall that others will want to cut you down? Or is it possible that you're caught in a fear that you will lose what you have acquired? So you hold on so tight that you miss the opportunities to expand. You're challenged to change the way you see the world and move from a perception of limitations to a perception of abundance. Take a risk, for you have nothing to lose except your confinement in a prison of your own making. Open the door and find the abundance waiting for you to claim it. Well, it's the recurring theme over here, guys, that I see in the readings for this week. And is this Frozen? And the theme is, it's going to be some kind of like thinking. It's going to be looking deep down in who we are, what we are doing, why we are doing, and resolving it. And there is like this light at the end of a tunnel, and it's kind of like really interesting that this is kind of coming up. So let's see the water cat. Let's see my Aquarians. And as you can see, Aquarians were not really that eager to actually click. So let's do this. So why is this? Aqua, you are sign number 9. You want to get your readings? You better start clicking on the monthly readings, because they go like monthlies compared to monthlies, X with X, because it's not that everybody looks the X series. Kylie, which message you're talking about? The general messages is for everybody, just a card I pull, and it has really great there, a state there in Vegas. Look at this, you guys are, I was never in Vegas, kind of like, it doesn't really even appeal to me, going to desert. I don't know, I have girlfriends who are going there like every 3 months, but I know if I want to blast the money, I can burn it, I can spend it on me, I can spend it on tigers. So I guess gambling doesn't appeal me, other than lottery, which I buy religiously and lose equally. Like, I mean, that already would be nice vacation if I just invested it. So Aquarians, you have Knave of Swords. Whoa, that's a nice card. Look at that one here. Then we have Two of Cups. Who was this that had Two of Cups? I think Scorpio. And then we have Eight of Wands reversed. What is going on here? I'm trying to translate this in a picture that would make sense to me, right? Because this Eight of Wands is a really good card. It's really about love, and this is about love. But when it reverses, it can talk about delays. It's still really sending really good messages, right? So I'm thinking, like, I mean, who is going to contact me over here? Because this is kind of like maybe confusion over something that happens, and maybe we are going to be overly pragmatic and overly talkative and demanding explanation and kind of like kill the freaking moment as a result of it, right? But at the same time, Page of Swords is saying, and that's why he's standing on a little bit of tarot lesson on this checkerboard, which is not black and white, but it's kind of like pink and blue over here. This is between heart and communication, right? But you see, his sword is right on the edge in between the two, and it looks like it's some kind of like floating over thing. And whether this is moon or sun, initially I thought it was the moon, but now I think it's the sun. So I really think here there is like somebody who is, I think Aquarians, you protected yourself. there's like this big armor over here, and it was like really hard to figure it out. And I think that's what I was seeing right in your last readings, that Aquarians are going to shed their skins, proverbial skins, because there's like a thick wall that has been built, that wall serves no purpose anymore. And also the understanding of other people is not going to be in a black and white kind of like on a black and white principle anymore, because it's going to be completely different. Two of Cups is like that unity, and it could be something happening at work, it could be promotion, it could be like, I mean, saying the right thing in the right time, but then something starts working and gets a little bit kind of like sidetracked or getting like wayside over here. So this is really, really interesting. I also have Aquarius, not only sign but Venus as well. So now this is really telling me that Aquarians will be more feely, and it's going to be easier to relate to people that way. And I'm getting a whole bunch of cards jumping out, so I'm not going to take any of these. I'm going to get another one. Let's see. Should you buy a lottery ticket? I don't know. Like, I mean, that kind of like more or less told me that the investment has to be inside, like in that messages. But like, I'm sorry, Aquarians, I'm going back to the prosperity, I believe, reading that I had. So here is the letter. There is like some communication, and it's kind of like really weird, because like when I first saw these three cards, and that's why I was like kind of like waiting to see what is going to come, because the letter is to me about, of course, messages, email, text, but it's also about answer and approval. And it could be a contract or some kind of like documents, and maybe that's why, you know, things need to be cleared right out of the gate, right? So I really feel this communication will express way more than feelings, right? It can be possibly, you know, somebody who is protesting something, right? It could be somebody who is requesting an answer. Why did you do that? I don't know, like, I mean, if this is necessarily somebody from the past, but it could be, right? Because it can also indicate that we will be the one who will kind of like be taken with us. Maybe we will be the one demanding answers because this buddy over here relates to us, right? So it is really important what is the content of this communication, right? And this is going to be extremely important for the rest of the week, because this communication is showing up here, is showing up here, but it's kind of like having this emotional undertone over here, right? So I don't know, like, if anybody's going through some kind of like exams, maybe they can really talk about that, because exams are also written and kind of like can be something that has been received, right? So this card would be Two of Pentacles, which kind of like talks about things are juggling in the air, need to be resolved over here. I don't know if you guys are dealing with Taurus. It could be that there is some kind of like Taurus involved over here, because that kind of like goes in that direction as well. What's up, Tiger? I'm hearing the sights coming from his direction, kind of like doing this. So it sounds to me that maybe we are going to making this kind of sounds when we hear or see something. So something is going to come our way that we are going to shake our head. But this, what we get, is not over. This is still going to continue for some reason. And this is telling me that there is like love, guys. It's love in the air. And we are approaching this in a maybe cold matter, kind of like, I mean, let's see if something is good on the paper for us to go, and maybe this is why it's delayed, but I really think this is forecast of something really, really good. Let's say I would not complain if I were you, Aquarius, just being that I am Aquarius myself. So we will see about that. Okay, there you go, Anita. That was the message to you. You see, Air is bad. Air is not bad even it's gonna combine with water and it's earth. Like air is this way because we nourish all of that stuff. So that's very, very important to know with air, right? So why is this not showing creative good? I wanted to hide your message. So now I'm going to announce next two signs. We are going to start with Pisces, and then it's going to be Taurus, and then it's going to be Capricorn. So let's see. And Barbie, I'm going to send you this chicken scratch that I'm writing over here as we are doing. So Pisces, and that's another reading that I did last night. I was thinking about Pisces in my dream, to be clear. Pisces, let's see Pisces. What do I see here for you? We have 3 of Wands, we have 6 of Wands, and this one here wanting to go out. And this is Queen of Pentacles. So money is affected. This is really clear over here. Queen of Pentacles could be somebody very demanding. It could be that maybe, as I have a Pisces girlfriend, and she's from Argentina, and she always calls it a crisis. So she says, I saw gray hair. I had a crisis. I had to really go and meet with my friends and have a cake, right? Or, oh my freaking God, like, you know, I'm aging. I saw this first wrinkle. So this can actually really talk a little bit of that vanity impact that she kind of like always mentions, right? So 6 of Wands is that victorious energy. It is like something that has been going forward, right? So maybe you have been going down the winning streak. Can you hear the ice cream? Ice cream, can you hear it? Is it picking up? This is like so bad. Like you just kind of feel, oh, chocolate and vanilla with a chocolate dip, right? So this is that feeling. I think this is the accolades, like kind of treat myself. I need to kind of like enjoy it. And like a 3 of Wands is equally really good about embarking on something new, embarking in new direction. What do you really want to go and how do you want to deal with this, right? But then, you know, something happens that kind of like sets you off and you feel maybe that you didn't plan it properly. But I would just say it's just like a minor setback over here. Or you might actually have a person who is like very demanding, or Pentacles can be very materialistic, right? Especially when they are reversed. So a Queen of Pentacles can talk about somebody actually who is reclusive. So that can be your mother. Or it could be somebody who is like demanding things, but almost like you better do this because I'm your mother kind of a thing, right? So, and you'll be just rolling your eyes and just like moving forward. That's kind of like going to be like that. So I really like it because in my dream I think the reading was not that great, but I see it. Why? Don't let other people take basically, you know, your gusto, because you're going to get gusto this particular, you know, week. So it's pretty cool that is really happening. So we are going to see this. Let's see. And we have message. Well, 3 of Wands is also connecting with message, right? So this is really interesting. He is having lots of money over here as well happening, as you can see. There is like another card. This is really reminding me of the other one, which was hope, right? That is really happening. So message, very similar to letter, is really talking about all of this modern communication. Anyway it can go, but it can talk about some kind of announcement, or it could be this person that kind of creates some kind of like message that kind of like freaks something out. This is a positive card, and I don't know, like, I mean, since it's associating with this kind of like fire cards over here, it could be kind of like meeting with somebody. It could be also job interview, guys, over here. Kind of like maybe you were invited to the interview, but this is not necessarily positive or negative, and it's going to be clearly somebody who can make a difference for you. So pay attention to this message. Make sure that you don't jump to conclusions of any kind, And this person over here who is maybe currently let's say affected with something that is going on in their life shouldn't be taken seriously, because I really feel there is like something that is going on over here for you at this stage. Is really important that you gain this momentum, and that's usually when we get this like 6 of Wands. The momentum is really going on. But then when you gain momentum, you know how the Buddhists say, this too shall pass. Everybody wants to get your spot. Everybody wants to take it away. So that's what I'm saying. As it's lasting, enjoy it. So somebody is going to try to take this away from you, and it's going to be up to you, my dear Pisces, how you're going to relate to this, right? So as I said, the next ones will be Tauruses. Moo Taurus. And Barbie, I was supposed to ring with every sign, and so I think she thought maybe it's a psychic ring. So that's where the miscommunication happened. So let me see over here. Taurus and Capricorn is last. What is Capricorns? You didn't really like me on my Is Your X series at all, but that's okay. Maybe you guys just don't care about dealing with exes, and so who cares? I don't want to really go in this direction. Do we have any Capricorn around? Oh my god. It's going to be annoyance this week, I can tell you, because we saw that like ringing from downstairs. We have a guy who continuously steals parking spots. So you just come home all nervous and annoyed. So this is Ace of Pentacles. And then you have Ace of Wands. Who am I reading? I'm reading Taurus. Yeah, it's I kind of like thinking it's very, very strong Earth. So there was like something that at some point somewhere in the past you started. You wanted to go in a certain direction, and it kind of like feels that things are being revisited. Look at that. 2 of Cups. Like, this is really interesting. You guys are clearly entering a new phase, and this new phase is actually something that is being rebuilt on the past. Maybe something has been placed on a back burner, maybe something you have forgotten, like you're refreshing your hobbies, you're refreshing, you know, your Rolodex, and you're looking at the old people that you didn't speak in a while. This can also talk about somebody just like giving you a call from out of the blue, because I kind of like feel that you're going to really like that, but you're going to say to yourself after initially being enthusiastic over something, no, I don't want to go back, right? Because like you are that like very strong earthy energy over here, because this can actually say, look, something really didn't work out, and maybe you have been dealing with something that cost you money, but also cost you maybe, you know, maybe this was separation, maybe this was kind of like some kind of ending that now, you know, somebody's trying to re-engage. So it's going to be I really think emotional week, because it's going to be possibly something kind of like back and forth with relationships, and that's why you have both ice cream truck and somebody, you know, honking the horn on their alarm, because it's going to be both. It's going to be evoking really good and feelings of, hey, this is how it's nice. It was in the past. It tastes good like ice cream. It's like something that you really want to have. But then you're going to get this siren warning and beep, 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 because like you're really thinking, oh my goodness, but that cost me so much time and money and patience and everything. And so it's going to be a really interesting week for you, because look at here, like you don't have swords. It almost looks like that's going to be lots of pensive moments. You'll be really thinking through how to go in which direction. Did I just not say this? Boy, I'm on a roll. So we have thought, and oh my gosh, this really looks like just this place where I live, this tiny little kind of like falls that you have, and you sit there and you're really thinking. So that is really just as it says it is, right? So we are kind of like working on kind of like making, like, obviously shows interest, right? Because when you're thinking, you wouldn't be even bothering if something is really not on some kind of like a level important. So there's like some kind of planning and trying to find a way to resolve the situation. Somebody may be reappearing, or moving a relationship to the next level as well over here, right? So maybe something that is really not currently happening, but it should be happening, right? So this, I think in your case, it really talks about conflicting information, and you really need to kind of like be able to marry all these details. So it can also tell me that you're maybe dealing with a person who takes their time to kind of like give you their insight or to give you their answer, right? And if you guys wondering about somebody, you really need to kind of like be entering into this with open eyes, and it has to be educated decision, educated guess. So kind of like a new strategy. It cannot be, okay, just come back into my life. It has to be kind of like spoken about, right? So careful consideration and a plan how to make it work. You need to resolve issues that really didn't work in order for you to move that forward. So that's going to be a really interesting week for you, Taurus, because I can see new beginnings, but I can also see possibly somebody changing their mind the last moment out of like, no, 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 I don't want these problems and I don't know how to deal with this. So we will see that. Okay. And the last sign, and today, I'm about the same time, is Capricorn. And Capricorn's icon is here. I really didn't know what to make up for Capricorn, so my apologies. That seemed to be something that I could come up with, and hopefully, you know, Capricorns will forgive me. So where do I turn it off? Here we go, Capricorn. You're the last, you're the last, you're the last, and it is, okay, Capricorn, 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 Capricorn. Having a Three of Pentacles reversed. Three of Pentacles. Holy smoly moly, you're last, but you're saying I'm not the least. So you're having the Empress. You're having Six of Pentacles. Then you're having Eight of Cups, and you're having Seven of Swords. Look at this boxed in feeling over here. Huh. I really feel here, guys, that is going to be a divine feminine, if you allow me to use a very sophisticated terminology, weak. It might going to feel like maybe it's going to start really weirdly. It's going to be a woman that is going to dominate your life, or it's going to be you who will feel that you have to be in this kind of like dominating position. This kind of like is something that maybe happened at work, maybe happen as a result of, I guess, not enough sleep, or something that you felt that maybe other people were not coming your way or helping you in kind of like resolving the matters, and you're like kind of taking charge. Or it's going to be a woman in the situation that she's really taking charge, because there's like coming to this like Six of Pentacles, where she's like that generosity and giving and sharing kind of a thing. So things really have to be placed in balance over here. Maybe you're clearly demanding that certain things are repaired, or you're working on something. Like they all have this strong earth energy. So you might be dealing with Libras, you might be dealing with Taurus over here, you might be dealing with Aquarians. And if that's the case, then this is really referring to a person, or otherwise it can basically talk to energies that are kind of like brought by those signs. It could be that there's like something that is coming back to you. Maybe you have kind of like moved on from some situation or a person, especially if you're a man. Maybe there was this woman who you placed on a pedestal for some reason, and you felt that you have been very generous, but maybe something didn't really happen. Maybe kind of like there were issues in this progress. Now, this is really interesting thing, because maybe because look at this, we have 8 and 7 here in the bottom, which kind of like really tells me that going from that energy that maybe was more or less understanding the energy and working with yourself, and how to deal with this and which direction to go. You demanded. 5 cards came through with for you. It kind of like gives me this is the devil energy over here, that really is the energy of our exes, or a feeling connectivity, but maybe not in a healthy way. Maybe a feeling how things need to be resolved, right? So 8 of Cups to me is like finally, stopping that seeking yourself and stopping that search for yourself and finding yourself and saying, well, where I was fine, and I don't know like why I really wanted it and I needed more when I had everything. But then right after you do that, there's like this sense of being stuck, or maybe you're kind of going to understand that you're like too much idolizing things, because the 7 of Swords I really don't like as a card. So you have to be very careful of people, and it could be really something that you might not even know. This kind of like 7 of Swords is usually something that happens at night, something that happens out of nowhere, and sometimes it happens that you do things out of nowhere. I will tell you, I know the situation. I remember once I was going on a date and didn't really think much about it or anything, and as I was driving, it just said, I need to break up with him. It just was thought like that. And of course, to this person, that kind of like seemed as a betrayal, but it was something, and I guess that peace of mind where I was like connecting to it, and it was just the time to realize, oh my gosh, I'm just going through emotions, and it is really time to kind of like push things in a different direction. And of course, he was like freaked out. We were just talking 2 hours ago, so why did we have to meet, and that kind of stuff. But sometimes it happens like that. It could be situations simply like that. So I want to see what's happening here. Some money. Maybe somebody owes you money. Maybe there is like a betrayal that somebody's not going to return money, or something they said they kind of like wanted to kind of like connect and have with you. That's really, really interesting, because money is like also about secrets, right? And could be like that you're tired. Maybe you have been waiting for somebody to kind of like open up and kind of like deal with their own issues. But this also can talk about possibly, again, winning lottery, and then you win lottery and somebody claims half of it, and it could be your ex-spouse or something like that, right? So that's where I see these combinations. But I also kind of like would say to you guys, be very careful of gold diggers in this particular time, because that's somehow that it looks to me, and it can be male or female, it doesn't really matter. And I do feel things from the past kind of like resurfacing for some reason. It could be financial motivation behind that. But this card actually can also suggest wealth, right? It can talk that, work-wise, maybe you're on the right track. Love-wise, it could be that somebody who's pretending to love you is actually motivated by money. And so I would just really talk about this, that you should be very careful with your money, because it's sometimes a warning, especially when it comes to the 7 of Swords, that you do have something to be taken away from. Here you're giving this freely, and here there's like somebody taking this away from you. So little by little can actually generate a lot. So you guys, you need to be cautious. Especially if you're in a creative profession, especially if you deal in, like, let's say, a love relationship that is kind of like based on doing different things, I would really kind of like be looking into that deeper and kind of like careful. So that's really lovely over here, guys. So I think this is like the last sign that they have over here. We have spent our Saturday together. So this deck is a Crystal Tarot deck, if anybody's interested. It's usually the deck that I use to unearth things, and it really did bring quite a bit of messaging over here that we had. Look, you also had the 3 of Swords reversed, and I think that would really talk about forgiveness and understanding and kind of like coming into that kind of like Zen. So I do thank everybody, guys, for being here. I appreciate you, everybody. So all is for February. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So there we go. So until the next Saturday, I really hope everybody has a beautiful week. I'm going to play some music over here while we are like saying goodbye. And you know, Barbie, I'm going to send you my chicken scratch. Hopefully it's going to help you a little bit with your timestamps. Send you via email, and hopefully to the right email. Hopefully. Okay, all the best to everybody. Love you, love you, love you. Until the next time, all the best.